Life is an illusion, and everybody's talking about it. You might be aware of it on a certain level when people talk about the matrix, but do you just live it in your daily life? And to realize that you are not the body nor the mind is maybe the most impactful perspective you can overtake to become a conscious manifester.
Essence Talk. Realize yourself. Manifest your life.
The whole point is this. We as humans tend to get lost in knowledge, and we lack embodiment. If you just watch how we have our school time, we are there for years, and the theory part is, I would say, maybe 99%. And then you just leave the school, but you never went into embodiment and into practice. And the thing with reality is that we look at reality through lenses which are conditioned in our brain and mind. And what happens here is that we don't understand even that we have this scientific proof of what reality is. We can't overcome this gap of looking into and at reality as it really is. And that means that you aren't the body nor the mind. And let me explain this, because if you just take this as an opportunity to really change your life fundamentally, you will automatically grasp why the most manifestation teachings are merely concepts for mindset. It's not more than mindset, because if a manifestation teaching isn't addressing the ego, you will never ever unleash your full potential, because you just switch from a rusty cage to a golden cage. But in the end, you're just still sitting in the cage. And that's not why you're here for. So it's not just about judgment and how you work with reality. It is obviously from what position in reality you work with it. It is kind of ridiculous, kind of funny that we can't overcome the gap of this paradigm that we are the body. Even if we have this knowledge, I just want to share with you. And you might know it already. It's not really new. This is the stuff they taught me in the past when I was learning my profession as an offset printer. That was I was 20 years ago. And there is the teachings about how we perceive colors. And this is the very starting point for this episode now. And it is just fucking mind-blowing. Okay. That we are the body is merely an idea. It's really just a perspective, and it is a misunderstanding. Because the idea that you, and I think this is how you experience reality right now, and of course I do this as well. Yeah? I need to train over and over again myself to get out of this perspective, to come back to my true self. And it is the perspective which is so just perfectly made, the illusion of being the body, when, for example, you just look at your hand. And what you think is that this is me. I am this body in space, and I am right here now looking out of my eyes into the distance. But that's obviously not what is happening. It's not real. So that means what really happens is that you just perceive light, okay? You just perceive light from reflected objects. And so if you, let's say, the light hits your eye, and this light then get projected on the backside of the eye, your retina, what you experience there is a 2D movie. It is really just like a screen in the cinema. And if this particle is just, you know, a millimeter or even less away from your retina, you can't perceive it. Just in the moment the photon hits the retina, you don't even receive it then. Because what happens is that this, based on these photons, this information got translated into electrical impulses. And now comes the illusion of time and space. Because if you just now slow down and zoom in, what happens is that from your eyeball, through the nerves, which are connected directly to your brain, this electrical impulse, they just go through these nerves to your brain, and just inside the brain comes the illusion of depth, of the 3D effect. And on top, also the color, because what you perceive is just white light, and the color you are perceiving is just a construct of your brain, like everything. This is why what is you will never ever come in contact with what we call physical reality. It's impossible. Because even a brain cannot see. What happens there is that inside the brain, together with the mind, there comes all these judgments, all these paradigms, because the raw data of sensory perceptions means this example for the reflected light, but also for what you touch, also in the end, just the electrical impulses transported to your brain, so that the sensory perceptions together, they create this movie, this illusion. And this illusion, what you're perceiving right now, is literally just a movie. It is a movie inside your mind, and it is literally just a translation of the information you perceive through your sensory perceptions, like what you touch, see, smell, and so on, and hear. And once you realize that, the truth is that when you just now take a look at your hand, what you see is not your hand. What you see is part of the whole movie you are experiencing right now. So there is no difference between your hand and, for example, the wall I'm looking at, or the plants outside of my window. It is just to get it really, it's important to realize that, it's important to grasp that when you now just look at me on this screen, you just see me, and it is the illusion that you have me in the middle of the screen and separated from the space behind and around me. But the truth is, what you really see is a screen. It is just pixels. And if my hand ends and it goes over into the space behind me, there's no difference. What you just see is a 2D movie with the illusion of depth and colors. And this is exactly the way we perceive reality right now. Because a brain will never ever come in contact with a photon. It will never ever happen, because the photon ends in the backside of the retina, and from there on it's just a translation based on electrical impulses. And this electrical informations, they're feeding your brain, and your brain is creating that what you call reality. But even a brain, as I just mentioned, cannot see. So you need consciousness observing this movie. And that's the whole point. And you might ask yourself now, okay, but what's the point here with manifestation? You start now, once you just know who you truly are, and you are nothing from this whole world of sensory perceptions. And once you just realize that, next informations are coming. And that means that you aren't the thinker. So, for example, if you are sad, you will never ever have thoughts by happiness. Means someone just tells you, hey, why are you sad? You're safe, you have money, you have something to drink, to eat, sun is shining, you hear the birds. Come on, be happy. It doesn't work. It doesn't work, because the energy you feel will create the perspective, which is the ideas you have about reality. And it's the other way around. Once you're just totally happy and someone says, come on, be sad, it doesn't work. When you're happy, you will experience thoughts of happiness. And this is the energy. The energy is creating the thoughts. And what's the energy? The energy is the true self, your essence, which is observing reality. Okay? You are observing the movie I just described now in detail before. And the gift here is that reality is absolutely meaningless. In reality itself is no meaning built in. For example, I have a dog, Nubi, and a foreigner just might see the dog and he hates the dog without even knowing the essence of Nubi. It's just a projection. And the same happens with another person, and he doesn't know Nubi as well, but he loves the dog based on his projection, based on his past. And so is it with absolutely everything, because the raw data of sensory perceptions from what you see, yeah, from what you hear, taste, and so on, there are no emotions built in. There is no meaning. It's just light, it's just noise, it's just electrical impulses. Just inside your brain, you start to give meaning to it. And that's a really crucial point. Because when you are a conscious creator, what you're doing here now is you flip the switch. You give meaning to reality. And now a very important point here is how you fuel the energy. And this comes to when you're sad, you will have feelings and with that thoughts about sadness. It is about you to calibrate yourself. And there's a difference between ego, which is the, let's say, the built-in character in the game. There's kind of two layers. It's the lower layer, which is the physical reality here, which might be something like a game, for example. Take it as an online game. And then there's the true will, your true self, your essence. And this is the one behind everything. This is the energy which fuels everything, which creates everything you just perceive right now. And this is you. Yeah? You are the source of everything. And that means that it's about you to fuel this Maya, this illusion, this game, with your energy. And this is the whole point where, for example, the common manifestation teachings are lacking explanation, because they never address the ego. And so in the end, it's more about a changing from negative thoughts to positive thoughts for attracting them. And in a certain way, there's truth in it, but it will never ever fulfill you. It just leads to a golden cage, for example. Why? Because you have to know who you are. You have to know yourself. And this is what I will explain in another video. Why you are guided all the time. It is not about finding positive thoughts or thinking about how I feel when I'm rich. That's not the point. The point is really that you just have to allow yourself fully to flow. So in the beginning, when you really want to start to become a conscious manifester, it's about looking at the bottlenecks. And the bottlenecks are all your limited beliefs. So it's not about overpainting the rust. That means I'm afraid of thinking negative thoughts. No, it's the opposite. What you do as a really conscious manifester is you face the darkness. You face the things which are not in your vibration, which are based on a lie. You have to debunk all the lies you believe in. And you're guided to them because your emotions are guiding you there. And this is why you find through this darkness to the light. And this is the foundation to become a true manifester. All the superficial explanations you just get maybe on a superficial level, when it comes to manifestation, they maybe lead you to the point where you really fuck up your life even more because you don't face your, let's call it negativity, Because all these emotions, they are just messengers. They are your very best friends to make your life just to a divine experience. You will have a divine experience once you start to know how the manual works. And this is my part now. This is my part, what I just want to share. My goal here is to make really a difference, to give you explanations you don't get around the corner, and which are also based on my own experience. I'm also totally open to talk about my own changes, about my own manifestations, which were consciously created, and it works. It is very, very helpful to follow me here and to watch my videos, because I don't hold anything back. I have no agenda. I don't sell anything here on this channel. All just what I want to do is to make myself a gift to everyone who's open to receive the teachings. I hope you enjoyed. It's the best journey you can embark on. See you next time.